Alright, let's see where this goes. Unscripted, unrehearsed, raw. Still so nervous. Okay. Hi, I'm Matt from Herbidoor, and last week we said was going to be doing something a little bit different, and you can tell we've got a little bit of a plain start. A white wall, we've got a tablecloth, and two phones and a light sitting in front of us. And personally, I thought that the little chat we was having every Monday was getting a little bit stale. I also felt like it was everybody like, hey, look at what new thing we have, and that's just not how business and life is. So I wanted to make it a little bit more real for you. I wanted to share a little bit more about what Herbie is, what we're trying to achieve, where we've come from, and looking at where we are eventually looking to get to as well. And this little thing's going to be 5 or 10 minutes. We're going to do it every week. We're going to see where it goes. We have no real plan to this at all. We're just going to let it organically grow. So today, I'm going to share with you how Herbie started, where we are today. Some of this is going to be a little bit funny. Some of this is going to be a little bit eye-opening for you as well. And if you're in business yourself, or you're looking to get started or something, hopefully this story will help inspire you to take a little bit more action. And you might hear some of the employees every now and then as they walk by, some of the team members. So we don't even have a name for this. We threw up some names on the whiteboard and they were not very good. We're not very good at naming things, I'll be honest with you. When 6 or 7 dudes stand around a whiteboard and try and give something a name, we definitely realized we needed a female touch on that. So I'm going to open the floor to you guys as well. Maybe you have a name that you might want to use for this. We're sort of running along the lines of raw because Herbie was a dinosaur, and what I'm talking about now is going to be pretty raw as well. So maybe we might run with that. Maybe we might come up with something different. Maybe we might name it, and 2 months from now, maybe we might change it. We don't know. Like I said, we will see where this goes. So with that being said, Herbidoor started in 2018. And just prior to that, myself and Amanda, we got married about 7-8 months beforehand. We done a little bit of traveling, we went on a honeymoon, and when we come back, we pretty much had zero money. We had somebody living in our house, so we was renting it out. It was getting really good rent. We had really good tenants. We had nowhere to live, and luckily Amanda's parents gave us the granny flat to live in, which we are still in now. And we've also had 2 beautiful young boys in that time as well. So we did have sort of the best start to get things underway. It was a little bit stressful. We didn't even really have a home. And then I was working for a guy helping him build kitchens. I'd built kitchens in the past, and I'd started that in like December. Then Christmas happened, and I come back from the Christmas break, and he had no work or no new jobs to do, and he lived in his factory, and he asked me to start cleaning things up, and that included picking up his underpants off the floor. And that's when I sort of said, nope, I'm out, I'm leaving, I'm going. He was a little bit of a drunk. Each to their own, but I'm not picking up somebody's underpants after them and things. So I went home and had a little bit of an argument with Amanda because I quit my job and we had no income. A couple of days later, she said, well, what are you going to do? I said, I don't know. And she said, well, you know how to cook. Why don't you put a post up in the local Facebook group and ask people if they would like you to cook for them? So that's what I did. I just put a post up. I wrote down 5 meals I was going to cook. I'd never cooked them before. I had no pictures for them. I had no website. I had no way of processing a payment. Really had no idea how I was going to get it underway. And a couple of people started commenting saying, yeah, we'd love you to cook. I'd love to have these meals. So I set up a MailChimp form. People opted in on that form. They selected the meals they want. And then I rang them up and I took their credit card, and then I had no way of being able to actually even take the payment. So then I had to join PayPal and work out how to pay for it through that way, sending a link. I can't remember exactly which way I managed to do it. So the first payment come through, but the money didn't land in my account yet. I couldn't withdraw it. So Amanda's mum graciously gave me $200 as a loan to get Herbidoor started. So Herbie started with $200, no website, nowhere to cook the food, no menu, nothing, no pictures of anything, nothing at all. And you know, luckily there was people out there that were busy, they needed some help, and they entrusted me to be able to do that. And so back in 2018, that's how Herbie started. I was working out of the kitchen at the Bowls Club, and you know, slowly started to outgrow that. I was doing all the cooking, I was doing all the deliveries. Amanda was helping with a few bits and pieces along the way. She was also trying to get something of her own off the ground too. And eventually Herbie just kept evolving. It kept evolving, kept growing. We had a rotating menu. We done, I think it was 5 meals. We had 4 different menus. So over a month period, you'd try 20 different meals. Now, if you've been to Herbie's website now, you'll notice a lot's changed since then. So I went from doing that, and a couple of months later, it was literally probably 3 months later, Channel 7 rung and said, hey, we'd like to, you know, film a little bit of what you're doing and you know, do a story on you. And I was wrapped, I was stoked. Also, excuse the French, shit scared at the same time, because even sitting here now talking to you, I'm not very comfortable on camera. So hopefully I'm not coming across too shaky or too nervous or anything at the moment. I actually had to listen to a song to get pumped up before I even sat down on here to talk to you. And the Channel 7 news article then led to the Gold Coast Bulletin picking us up. Then that led to an explosion in growth in the business, where it actually grew faster than I could personally handle. And I made a lot of mistakes in that process. So the good news was doing a great job, to the point where people were talking about us that we ended up getting some exposure. But the bad news was I wasn't ready for that growth when it happened, and I made a lot of mistakes to get there. I know some of those mistakes we still sort of feel the effects of a little bit today. I'll share those stories with you another time. Nothing bad or anything like that. It was just a novice in the industry, really. So food is very fickle, and trying to keep it fresh and cold and good, so that when the customer gets it at the other end, it lasts for as long as it is, and it always tastes great the whole way. It's a super challenging thing. For you guys that freeze our food when you get it, it's absolutely heartbreaking for us. But that's another story altogether. So in 2018, we saw some really, really fast growth, and then I had to go out of the kitchen I was in and then get our own premises, which was down in Murwillumbah. We was only there for a week because the drainage there was no good, and it started coming back up out of the floor, so we had to get out of our lease. Then we went to Coolangatta. We outgrew that kitchen. Then we went to a kitchen just about 200-300 meters away from where we are now. We outgrew that kitchen, and now we're in this kitchen about 4.5 years later, a little bit over 4.5 years. So Herbie will be unofficially 5 in March, but as a registered proprietary limited company, as of the 4th of July next year, we'll be 5 years old, which is a huge milestone for any business. Anybody that's made it to 5 years already knows the hard work it takes to get through there. So during this time, we've grown to a point where we've got some great people that work for Herbidoor that create some amazing things that come to you guys. But the biggest thing for me was learning more about how business operated, and how to manage people better, and how to even get out of your own skin and do things like what I'm speaking to you guys about today. So a lot of things can be scary, a lot of things can be unknown, and I think it's good just to take action and get out there and have a look at them. During all of these years of Herbie going now for 4.5 years, there's been a couple of little things that happened as well. So I'm reluctant to ask for help a lot of the time. It's probably one of my negative traits. I just like to do everything myself. And we had to move kitchens one time. And I had to move it from one kitchen, had to take it to the garage at Amanda's parents' place, and then move it out on the Monday because I didn't have the keys in time. So there's like a couple of day break in between. And was moving Pretty much a full removal truck through of everything from fridges to stoves, ovens, all the utensils, the packing equipment, everything. And there's a really steep hill that goes down into Amanda's parents' garage. And I was moving a fridge, and Amanda's dad's car was at the bottom of the garage just behind the roller door, but there was enough room to sort of put everything to the side of it. And I was going down the hill backwards with a fully loaded fridge because we kept it cold, closed it all up, taped it so we could get it down, plug it back in, so everything would stay cold for the weekend before we moved it again. Well, I'm going down the hill, and this fridge was getting heavier and heavier. Suddenly my feet, I couldn't keep up. I was running, and the fridge actually tilted. So it's a big 2-door commercial stainless steel fridge. It tilted, it crushed my toes. It then popped up, I flipped backwards, it landed on me, I broke my arm, I broke my leg, and continued to move everything. Amanda's heavily pregnant at the moment. I think she was about 7 months pregnant with our first son. She was freaking out, she didn't know what to do. Adrenaline took over, and I managed to get everything unpacked, and I was driving the removalist truck back, because I only had it for the day, and then I was going to get it on the Monday, and I couldn't move, this arm here, I couldn't move this arm. What I ended up finding out eventually is I needed a screw to go in there and everything to get it fixed. But sort of the moral of the story for me is the biggest lesson I learned was to ask for help and not try and do everything yourself. Especially when things can be a little bit dangerous. All I was thinking about when this fridge was going to fall on me was don't let it hit Amanda's dad's car. So silly me, if I just rang somebody to give me a hand, we could have just moved this fridge down nice and easy, plugged it in, everything would have been fine. The unfortunate thing was when you are a one-man band, as I was at that time, I had to still do deliveries. I still had to do the cook the following week, walk around in a moon boot. I got a sling on one arm and I'm chopping things with one arm, and business had to go on. So sometimes things can be a little bit challenging, but usually the reason things are challenging is because of the decisions we made, and the decision I made was pretty bad. Excuse me, there's a truck rocking up to pick up probably the cardboard bin. So the lesson there is ask for help. I'm getting better at it. Herbie's still growing week on, week out, which is awesome. We've got some very unique things on the horizon for you guys as well. Some of it is very meat orientated, so I know a lot of people just want to eat the veggies, the tofu, the lentils, the legumes, the chickpeas, etc. But there's also people that are transitioning over, so we're trying to really create a menu that branches both of those. So the first 5 years has seen some huge growth. It's seen a lot of lessons learned. It's seen a foundation that's been built now that we're able to start to accelerate our growth from. And I'm looking forward to seeing what the next 2 to 3 years has in store for us as well. I don't want to sit here and waffle on too much, so I'm going to cut it short for now. But if there's anything you want to know about Herbie's journey so far, about where Herbie's planning to go to in the future, or you want to see some things behind the scenes or anything like that as well about what we're going to have happening, let's have a chat about it every Monday and share what it's about here. We'll keep it raw, we'll keep it real, we'll keep it unedited. Slowly, this might start to populate. Maybe we'll put a sign up there. I don't know, maybe we'll change the light, maybe we'll get rid of this, maybe we'll give it a proper name, we're not too sure. We're just gonna have fun with this, enjoy it, and see where it takes us. So that's it for now for Monday. I will speak to you next week. Enjoy your week, and I'll see you then. I'll see you later.